What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to the True Mets Talk podcast. This is another episode, another starting pitching video. As you all know, on my channel, I released my instant reaction to the Luis Severino signing yesterday. Make sure you go ahead and check out that video. Today, I'm going to be talking about Brandon Woodruff and if he is a viable option for the New York Mets in 2025 and beyond. As always, make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, supporting the podcast. Hit that subscribe button, bottom right-hand corner, hover over my icon while you're watching this, and hit that subscribe button and comment your own thoughts and opinions. I'd love to hear what you have to think. As always, you know where to find me on X, Instagram, and YouTube. My handles are all the same at CPNY Sports. Without further ado, let's talk some Mets baseball. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about Brandon Woodruff and who he is. For the fact of the matter, it's very plain and simple. Brandon Woodruff, when healthy, is a top 10 pitcher in baseball. That is a known fact. Unfortunately, he does come with a little bit of an injury history, which we will go into here in just a little bit. In 2023, he made about 11 starting appearances, and in the last game of the regular season, he came down with a shoulder injury that unfortunately, after a second opinion, required surgery, cutting his season short, and was unable to take the mound for the Brewers in their 2023 playoff series against the Diamondbacks. Given his injury history, the Brewers decided to let him hit free agency a little bit early. And when it came time to tender his contract, they decided to non-tender him. So now he is on the open market. He is a free agent, and he is fair game for anybody to sign. Obviously, as I mentioned at the top of this video, I reacted to the Luis Severino signing that we saw the Mets make as one of their initial moves this offseason to shore up the holes in the rotation. Luis Severino is clearly a back end of the rotation guy, and we've seen some people on Mets Twitter, per usual, crying out loud, and I hate to use that term, but at this point, it is whining about him making $13 million, potentially up to 15 with a $2 million signing bonus for 1 year, given his 2023 performance with the Yankees. Now, as this situation and as the starting rotation pertains to Brandon Woodruff, although the Mets are certainly not done in this 2023 offseason filling the holes of this rotation moving forward into 2024, by default, given the Luis Severino contract only being 1 year, as well as Jose Quintana coming off the books as well, having only 1 year left on his deal, the Mets are also going to continue to need starting pitching in 2025. Whether it be another free agent signing or whether it be a trade in the trade market in the offseason come 2025 or 2024, I should say. This is where Brandon Woodruff could potentially come in. Now, it's not known whether any teams at this very moment are actively engaged with Brandon Woodruff and his camp in terms of a negotiation, but you can imagine the advantage you would have of signing him to a multi-year deal right now before another team has the chance to swoop in for his services, given how high caliber of a pitcher he is when healthy. Now, what teams are going to be willing to go and pay him millions of dollars to not throw a single pitch in the 2024 season? Steve Cohen, that's who. I'm not proposing that the Mets should or should not do this. All I'm saying is that if they want to get ahead of those holes in the rotation come 2025, this is a perfect opportunity to do so and to do so early. Now, let's get a little bit more into what type of pitcher Brandon Woodruff is and the success rate he's had in this league. Here are Brandon Woodruff's last 2 years. In 2023, he appeared in 11 games, as I mentioned, 5-1 record, finished with a 2.28 ERA, a astounding .82 WHIP, and only 67 innings pitched. Not a great sample size, but impressive nonetheless. His strikeout to walk ratio in those 67 innings was 71-15, respectively. In 2022, a little bit better of a sample size with 153 innings pitched, 1.07 WHIP, which is still great, 3.05 ERA, which is astounding, 13-4 record. He is, like I said, without a doubt, a top 10 pitcher in the game of baseball when healthy. Now, I'm not surprised. I am a little bit surprised the Brewers non-tendered him, but with the way they do business and their money situation, I'm not all that surprised. They chose not to pay him $11.6 million not to play in 2024. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen, and I'm not even saying the Mets are interested. All I'm saying is that approaching Brandon Woodruff's camp about a potential deal could perhaps get you ahead of those pitching needs in 2025 on the cheaper end of a contract for a caliber player such as himself and what he is able to provide. What I'm saying is that Brandon Woodruff knows he's not throwing a single pitch in 2024. Rather than get paid $0, if you're Steve Cohen and David Stearns, you can swoop in and say, hey, we'll pay you X amount of money. I'm not going to throw a figure out there because that's their job to figure out, not mine. But whatever they're comfortable paying him to not play, if you're willing to sign a 2 to 3 year contract with the New York Mets, we'll put you through the rehab process. You'll come in, be with the team during the season in 2024, and you'll take the mound for us in 2025. It's something to think about. Like I said, I'm not sure who's actively engaged with him. I'm not even sure any team is going to want to touch a contract for Brandon Woodruff, let alone draft one up, until that 2024 offseason comes around and he's fully healthy. And we'll see what the final numbers are on his contract when he eventually does sign. A little bit more of who he is as a pitcher. He is a 5-pitch arsenal guy, just like Luis Severino, which is why I like the Luis Severino signing. There's a lot of upside, and I think that he has untapped potential in terms of the types of pitches he works with and his full arsenal. Same thing with Brandon Woodruff. Predominant four-seam fastball at just over 44%. Throws his slider, I believe, no, his sinker at 29%. And then his other off-speed pitches, curveball and slider, at a rate of less than 10% both, respectively. I think it's 9.5 for the slider and just over 7% for the curveball. These types of pitchers that have 5 pitches at their arsenal and are elite with the 7-year sample size, such as Brandon Woodruff, do not present themselves very often, and this is a very unique situation within itself. Potentially paying a guy that you know is not going to pitch for you in 2024 just to have him in 2025 is certainly a strategy. I'm not campaigning either way in this video. Usually I will give my take one way or the other in which I stand, but I firmly am 50-50 on this. I would understand waiting if you're the New York Mets, and I understand giving him a contract just to get him indoors if you're the New York Mets and you're willing to take on that extra salary this year before the extra money comes off the books in 2025. Here's a little bit more about Brandon Woodruff, All-Star in 2019. And just in 2021, he had one of his best seasons. 9-10 record, which isn't great at face value, but his ERA was 2.56. Now, here's a little bit more of his injury history. Came down with an oblique injury in 2019, had an ankle injury in 2022, and the aforementioned shoulder injury most recently requiring surgery at the tail end of 2023. He will miss all of 2024, as I said. And this is also important when you're talking about a quote-unquote innings eater type of guy, someone that'll get you 150, 160, 170 innings pitched consistently in a season. That's not likely to be Brandon Woodruff. Although he has top-tier stuff in terms of his pitching arsenal, although the statistics explain themselves, he's only pitched 120 innings or greater in 3 of his first 7 seasons. He's 30 years old, which is pretty respectable. We're not going the 40-year-old route with Scherzer and Verlander. So this is truly a 50-50 decision that I want you all as an audience to make. Drop your comments down below. Would you like to see the Mets pursue Brandon Woodruff, yes or no? And 2, would you like to see them pursue Brandon Woodruff this offseason, knowing that he's not pitching in 2024? Or next offseason, when he's fully healthy, but might want a little bit more money added onto the contract? Let me know in the comments. As always, guys, this is the True Mets Talk podcast. You know what to do. Hit that thumbs up. Comment your thoughts and opinions. Hit that subscribe button, bottom right-hand corner of this video. You know where to find me on X and Instagram as well at CPNY Sports. The very same exact handle as my YouTube handle. As always, we'll continue to monitor the Mets offseason moves. I'll make videos as fast as I can once the news drops. Pay attention to the Interstate Mets Report, airing Tuesdays and Fridays. Right now, only Fridays at 4 p.m. But eventually, when we get into the swing of things, we'll be going live 2 days a week on Tuesdays and Fridays. Check us out there. I'll have all those links in my description below. I appreciate you all, and as always, stay patient, stay calm, and let's go Mets. Thank you for watching the latest episode of the CP New York Sports Pod. If you enjoyed this content, make sure you hit that thumbs up, comment your thoughts and opinions, and use the lower right-hand button of this video to subscribe to the channel. Thank you.